Ministry organization has a theme colors. Nope. Stage display. Yes. All right. So the stage display option is going to be something we got to take care of. And they've currently got one stage display. And so in order for us to do that, we've got to have another connection or another way to get another output. If you haven't seen the video yet, I'll put a link in it or pop up or something like that for you to look at a way to easily multiply the number of outputs your computer has with a little device that's a split extender. Um, it allows your computer to go from having whatever it can support for multiple outputs in terms of maybe it supports 2 monitors, where it'll turn it into 4 more added to that with a simple USB-C or USB plug up and a device that supports that. And today I'm going to be using that to set up a stage display. So we need another output that's going to show the current slide text, the next slide text, a clock, a video countdown time, and a worship timer and a start service timer. All right, so let's go back and we're going to go into FreeShow. Let me turn on my template back again. Let's see. This is for scriptures. We selected the regular scripture. It just says scripture right there. That's good. All right. Now, if we go back into our show, we've got 2 shows here in this project for today's date, 7:30. That's fine. But how do we adjust this stage display option? Give me just a moment. Let me plug up a second monitor, or in this case, a 4th monitor. I'm turning on my additional monitor. I'm just going to use a small one, but this would be kind of what equate to whatever size stage displays you've got. There'd be bigger TVs, maybe another LED in the back or a projector or something like that, which is great. And I'm going to plug this in to get an input. All right. And so I've got this additional screen plugged up now for a stage. So we're going to go back into our settings real quick. We're going to go to outputs and we're going to add a new output. In this one, we're going to call stage. We're going to make it be called stage training. And I've got some here by default. Yours would probably be empty, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just select one just at random for now to pick a layout. And I'm going to call this one down at the bottom. It lets you name it. So I'm going to go stage training. And that's there. But now we need to set this up to figure out how we're going to do this. Okay. And they named a number of different things that they wanted to include in this stage display, which is pretty cool. One of the first things they said is they want to have the current text and the next slide text. So if we go back into our main space, we're going to select this option that says stage. And on the left side here, I'm going to select new layout. We're going to call this one, let's call this stage 1. And they said they want to have slide text. So we want to make sure we pick slide text here. And that is the current slide. And I can see that because primary is there. And then we also have this preview for the stage. And it says talking points 4. All right. And then also want to go back to items and I want to select one that says next slide text. And you notice it automatically populates what is going to be in the next slide. All right. And that is pretty cool. And I'm going to drag them to where they don't overlap. I just pull them some space apart and I'm just lining them up because there's another part of this. I want to make sure I can see exactly what their names are. All right. So I'm going to go up to the top again. Right below my preview windows, there's this little arrow pointing to the right. Select that. And then you're going to go down to the bottom. And I like to do show labels. And when I do that, it gives me the default color of yellow, which is fine. You can make it be super bright yellow if you want to. But you can always customize that to be whatever you want. All right. And so we've got this set up to where current slide is showing, next slide is showing. Let's go back over and look and see what else they wanted. They said they want to see current, next, and they want to see a clock. All right. Let's go over and let's look at a clock. If we go to the items, now this is still in our stage layout setup. So we're going to go to items and we're going to go down and we already did the outputs for the text. Okay. And you got this option for current output. Not something I recommend. It takes a load on the system if you don't have a really strong computer, which I do, but I still don't like using that because I know exactly what the current output is, and what's most important for the folks on stage typically is going to be what the text is that's on the output, right? What the audience is seeing in terms of text, so they can read along, sing along, whatever it is. If it is a video playing, you might want to do something like that where you can show the video. All right. But we got this option for a text box and a little drop down arrow here. And this gives you a bunch of different dynamic values. And I don't see anything in here that just says clock. Let's see here, slides. But I do see an option over here right below that says clock. So I'm going to select the clock option. And I'm going to drag it down to be a little bit shorter. And I can move it around. When I move to the edge of the frame of that item, it'll give you a 4-way arrow to move it around wherever you want to. Right now it's centered right in the middle. And it's got the time. And if I select this, which it is, it automatically went to the clock. And then it says the type is a digital clock. The date is set to none. But I can click on any of those and I can change it. So I can make it be an analog clock and it can look like that. A custom clock. You can do something like that and you can change the format to whatever you want, right? Hours and minutes. And we've got the AM, PM there, right? You can do that. I'm just going to go back to digital where it's there, but I'm not going to show the seconds. All right. So I'm going to turn off the seconds so it looks like that. And it's a little bit wide, so we don't need it to be that wide. So I'm going to bring that in to where it fits just fine and then move it back to the center because I like that layout where it's all centered up and it locks into place, which is perfect. Now, the other thing they said was they want to see the video countdown time, all right, and the worship time and a star service timer. We'll get to those in a second. But the video countdown time, let's go back into our stage setup and let's look at that, all right. So if we go back to our items, this is where you can add it's like your grocery store and you're filling up your buggy to put everything in your stage. And if, as a matter of fact, this is overlapping kind of weird. So I don't want to show that clock. I want the clock to actually be centered, but I want to show the title there without it overlapping on these slides here. Okay. And so if I go back to my items, this is the grocery store, and I can add things into my cart by simply selecting like we've been doing. But in this case, we want to add in a text box that shows the duration of a video, right? So if we get that little arrow down again, there's something in there that says video countdown. All right. There's one that says video time and then video duration. All right. I would say video countdown would be more like what we were talking about or what they said they want. And I'll pull that down and I'll put that right down below here. All right. And we'll pull that to where you can see it fully. And it doesn't look like much right now. And that's mostly because we don't have a video playing. All right. So let's go and let's make a video play. Let's get that to check out exactly how that works. And for using FreeShow, the cool thing about it is to approach it properly. You've got to understand it is like using a production software that has a collection of Bibles that is like using PowerPoint all combined together. And in that, it also is a media library of sorts. It organizes your content for you, all right? Not just your Bibles, but the shows that you create. They're all in the program all at the same time, all the time, okay? As opposed to PowerPoint, you have files that are saved in their separate files. They're separate files, but they're all saved in the same library. So I can go to shows and you can see all of your shows, okay? They're all listed inside the program, okay? Which is really cool. But we're looking for videos. And so if I go to my medias tab, I've already made some video options and I added a folder. So if you want to add videos, you can add a folder and you can point it to any folder in your computer. So it's not loading it up and duplicating it into FreeShow. It's literally pointing to it where it is on your computer. All right. So I'm going to go to, I got some folders or videos here called Bible Project videos. All right. And the Bible Project is a really cool program. They got a YouTube channel, they got a website, and a lot of cool resources as well. All right. And let's go to this one, How to Read the Bible.
More books in the Bible that are ancient
and I automatically selected it. I'm going to pull in the parables of Jesus into my show. All right. I'm going to put that one there. We're going to go to this and I'm going to select the parables of Jesus. All right. So that video is playing. If I go to my stage, it should show a video countdown. It's not showing it yet. Let's do the stage display to change it so we can see it here. Okay.
Must have been
So if I
some
go here
pretty
and I
mean
go
girl.
to my
Or the
outputs
kingdom of God is
and I
like a
select
tiny
my
mustard
stage
seed that
training
a farmer planted in
and
his
I
garden.
change the
It
layout
grew and
to
became
be
a
the training that we
huge
created.
tree,
So it
and
should be
birds
called
came to perch in
stage
its
1
branches.
actually. So I
That's
can go
a
to stage
beautiful
1.
image, but
And
what does
now
it mean?
we go to our show.
Jesus didn't tell
This video
parables
is
to
playing.
make everything clear.
And if I go here
Rather,
though, this
he
is what
wanted
the
to
stage is
provoke
seeing. They're
the
seeing the time
imagination
and they're
invite
seeing how
people
much
to
more
see
time
what
is
God
left in the
doing in
video.
world from a
Right?
new
Remember earlier it just
So
said
let's
like a
talk about
dynamic
how to
value or
read the
something like
parables
that.
of
Video
Jesus.
countdown in brackets and
Now,
something
there's many
weird.
great teachers that
That
throughout
was
history
to
have used
say
stories
it was a
teach
space
students
filler
about
to show
morality,
exactly
religion,
what would be in
philosophy.
there. All
But
right.
Jesus
And so
didn't
that's what we
use his
wanted to see.
parables to teach
The audience is
abstract
going to see this.
religious or
They're going to see the
moral
video
ideals.
playing and they'll hear
He
it as
said that
well.
his
Okay.
parables were about
But the
himself
people on
and
stage are
his
going to
mission.
see
His mission,
this
which
video
was to
countdown, which is
announce that
perfect.
the
Okay.
kingdom of God
Let's
was
go back and let's
approaching
keep
on
editing our
earth
stage.
as it
If I
is
go
in
back
heaven.
to our
Right.
stage,
So
that video
Jesus'
countdown is
day,
pretty
the
wide. We don't need to be that
Israelites
wide. I'm
were
going to make
ruled
it
by
be
the
the same
Roman
width
Empire,
as the
but
clock.
their scriptures promised that one day
And
their
for the
God would
clock,
come to
I
rule
want the
his
clock to
people
stand
as
out. So I
king.
want this to be
So
there,
many
but I want to change the
Israelites
background
wanted to
color of
revolt
it.
against
So we
Rome
can
and
go
fight for
over
their freedom.
to
And this is what some
selecting the
people thought
clock and we
of
can go over
as
to
the
the
kingdom of
item,
God.
which is
Exactly.
defaults to
But
select.
Jesus
And now I can
was a
select
poor,
background color.
traveling
And right now it
prophet,
defaults to being
healing the
transparent
sick,
because
inviting
I've got a
people to
black
follow
background.
him. And
But
he
maybe we
said
want this
that
to
this
stand out
was the
and be a
arrival
different
of
color.
God's
So maybe
kingdom.
we make it,
And
we can make it
that
be
didn't
blue.
fit people's expectations.
Maybe a little bit
So
brighter
Jesus
blue,
used some parables
something like
to help
that. People can see it a little
imagine
bit
that
easier
his small
potentially. It stands
movement
out. They
was
can
the
see it.
arrival of
And you
God.
can see here what it
Oh
looks
yeah,
like. You
the
can see over
parable
here on the
that
right what
kingdom
it
of
looks
God
like
is
at a glance.
east, hidden in a lump
And
of dough. And you might
I
not
like the
see
way
it
that
at
feels so
first, but
far.
it's gonna change everything.
We go
Jesus
back
also told
over
parables
to
about
what
the
they filled out. They
upside-down
said they also
values of
want a
God's
worship
kingdom,
timer and
about
a
how
start
the
service
least
timer.
important people in the
All right.
world are actually the
This is
most
pretty cool.
important people to God.
And the way it
Especially
works is
those
in
who are
FreeShow,
poor
you can
and of low
add timers,
status.
but you've
Yeah,
got to
the
create
parable
them
about
yourself.
the business
So
owner
let's create some
who
timers
hired
and
workers
we can
throughout
have
the
this
day,
all
in the
created. We're
morning,
still working on
later
this
in the
stage
day, and
display
even
of
towards
everything
the
they
end of the
wanted.
day.
But along the
And
way,
when
we're
it
filling
was
in a
time
few
to pay
nuggets
everyone,
as
he
we
paid them
go.
all
So I'm going to go
the
back to
same
show.
wage.
Right, Jesus is showing
And
how
in
money and
FreeShow,
status
you
are
can,
irrelevant
I'm
to
going to turn
God,
this, I'm going to turn
who
it off from
offers
there
his
so it's not
generous
distracting. We'll
mercy
go back to
to
point one.
everybody.
And notice
Now,
that it
not
went
all of the
over the top.
parables
Point
have
one went right over the
happy
top of
endings.
the
Some are
background
really intense.
video.
Yes,
Okay, so the
Jesus
videos
stood in
automatically
the
default to the
tradition of Israel's
background. If
prophets,
you want it to
who
go
also
away,
told
you can
parables
simply
and
click this little
criticized
icon
Israel's leaders
under clear
because
all.
they
Instead of hitting,
mistook
if I hit
very
clear all, it'll clear out everything, which is great. But I'm going to restore it
Jesus of
back up
Nazareth was a master
and
teacher,
it
and some of
goes
his
there and it
most
starts the
well-known
video
teachings are
over.
told
But I can
in
just
short
clear out the
stories called
background of
parables.
Yeah, like the kingdom of heaven is like
the
a
slide
merchant
by
who is
itself by
looking.
clicking on that while it's red. And then the slide is still active. That's why it's still a little red box around the text little icon there, because the slide is there and it says talking points 1. All right. But let's talk about timers. Now, if you look at the tabs, there's nothing here that says timer, and I get that. What you want to do is look at the option to go to that says function. But let's do something else. I'm going to do a Command G on my computer, and I'm going to type in the word timer. All right. And you'll see here a lot of cool resources. This is the new quick search function, right? So it's got a timer here called the next slide timer. There's an action here called the 10-minute training timer. And then there's this thing that just says timers. This is the one that you want to select, but you also, if you don't know how to use timers, you got some videos here that are from YouTube that are overlay timers, learn timer settings, countdown timer setup. And then you also got some shows here that show timer colors, starter service. These are the ones I created. These videos happen to be ones I created as well, and they're just kind of built into the program and point you right to some helpful resources, hopefully, to understand how to use FreeShow, which is really cool. Now, as I typed in the word timer, I also got this option that just says new timer. That's a very convenient way to do it. So I'm going to select new timer, and it says, okay, what do you want to time? Do you want it to be a start to end? Or do you want it to go towards a certain time or the time until an event? You have options. I'll leave it up to you. With this being an intro level setup, I'm going to just say start to end. This is going to be pretty typical. But once you get into FreeShow, you might want to set your calendar to where it always is showing the time towards a certain event. If you have a regular time that your meeting starts, you can do that, right? Which is pretty cool. All right. But to start, we're going to do this one just so we can understand how this works. And for your countdown, we're going to make this countdown timer. We're going to say service start. We're going to name it, which is the first thing that was highlighted. And we're going to make it be 10 minutes. Oh, I don't have to put M. It's already minutes. All right. 0 seconds and 0 minutes to the end. So it's going to go from 10 minutes, 0 seconds to 0 minutes and 0 seconds. And then it says overflow when it's reached the end. We can do that. And it'll default to being a red color when it gets done. Okay. And then it's got an option to blink when overflowing. You can turn that on, and then you can offset it by the number of seconds. So you can make it blink every other second, every 2 seconds or something like that, which is kind of cool. So we'll make it blink every 3 seconds. All right. And we'll do create. So we created this timer. We called it the service start timer. And you'll notice here, I got 2 of them. They both are 10 minutes, and I don't know which one is which actually. Let's see here. Let's do an edit, and I'm going to make one say be called training. So this one doesn't have the blinking, so that's not ours. And that was the top one. This one does. If I go to edit, I just right clicked on it and hit edit. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's see. Okay, maybe I need to hit this top one. No. Okay, yeah, so the top one is not it. Go to this one, edit, hit this drop down arrow here. This is the one we got. We're going to call this one training. All right. And that locks in. We can hit enter to lock it in and just close it if you want to. It's the simplest way. And so now, let's see here. I don't even see service start training. Did I lock it in? We go edit. We got that there. Oh, I got to hit the edit icon. It'll lock it in. Sorry about that. All right. Now, we've got this timer, 10 minutes long. They said they want another timer for worship. All right. And if I scroll down to the bottom, I got an idea of how long worship is. So let's see. Start a service, they said 10 minutes, perfect. I didn't even realize that. And then they got 30 minutes for worship time. So let's go back over. We're going to make another timer. Now we're already in the timer setting, which is actually in the functions tab, which is that very last tab on the right. We're going to select new timer at the bottom. All right. And we're going to do the same thing, except this time it's going to be a worship. I'm going to say training at the end so I can find it easily. Instead of it being 5 minutes, we want it to be 30 minutes. All right. And overflow when reached, that's fine. We'll just make it be red. It doesn't need to blink. We'll just say create. All right. Now these are in alphabetical order, so I need to scroll down and I'll see worship training at the bottom there. Excellent. So we got to go back to our stage because we were creating those so they can be on the stage. So now we can go to the stage setup, and we've got this here. Now, during service, these things are all very beneficial. All right. As for the actual worship and the countdown timer, what I would say is let's do something kind of fun. All right. This is going to be kind of fun and funky, but we're going to make it to where they'll show up when they're actually running, and then they're going to go away when they're not. All right. So over here, we got some space. This is where I want to put the timer for each of them. So we're going to go to our items. We're going to go to timers, and it defaults to this 0, 0, 0. I'm going to just arrange it to fit in this space we've got. All right. We'll make it be there. It'll be kind of big. That's good like that. And we got to pick the timer. So I'm going to go to the timer options, and it says first active timer. We don't want that. We want it to be the service start training timer, and it's a 10-minute timer. That's great. And the item, you can make it be a different background if you want to. We can make it be kind of a turquoise color if you want. We got a lot of that going on already. We'll make it be purple. All right. And so that stands out at the beginning of the service. We'll see it. That's perfect. All right. I'm going to right click on it, and we got this option that says conditions. Now, this is more of an intermediate to advanced level option, but I want you to understand that you can have one stage display that shows multiple different things. So I'm going to say conditions, and it says all of the following conditions are met. So show this item if, and it's got an option here for a timer. We're going to pick it. We're going to pick our service start training timer if it is running. That's when we want to show it. If it's running, we want to show it. And so it's there, and we can just close that out. And now you have this little light bulb icon show up in the corner there, okay? That's great. Now, when I look at the preview though, check it out. There's nothing there. We haven't started that timer, so it's not going to show up. That's what that condition does, which is really cool. All right. There's a whole video about conditions as well. You can check that out if you want to. But we're going to use this because it simplifies our workflow if we understand how it works. But we need to add our worship training timer as well. So I'm going to go back to my items here, right up under the preview, because we're editing our stage display. We're going to select timer again. And in the same spot, actually, I'll put it on this side. We'll put it on the left side this time. We'll put this other timer, let's bring it down just a bit, the other corner, and we'll have it over here. All right. This will be our worship timer. Right now, it's no timer set. Okay. So what do we got to do? Go up to timers. Instead of it being the first active, we need to select, they're in alphabetical order. So I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom, worship training. Now we've got our 30-minute timer there, and this one, we can make it be purple as well if we wanted to. So I've already got it selected. You can tell by the dots around it. And I can go to item, select it, and make it purple in the background, okay? You can adjust the padding and the opacity and all that kind of stuff, the corner radius. You can make it rounded if you wanted to, all those kind of things, but not necessary. So we're not really going to deal with it, but we do want to add in that conditional statement. So we're going to right-click on it, select conditions, and then it says show item if all the following conditions are met. We're going to go to timer. We're going to pick the same timer, worship. Let's see. There we go. I got to go down a little bit further. Worship training. All right. When it's running, it'll show up. Perfect. So I can close that out. So now I've got two timers here, one on each side. I'm going to make them be the same height. One is super tall. There we go. So they're both the same height, just on opposite ends. But right now, neither one of them is running, so it doesn't look like anything is going on. This is a very dynamic and cool way to keep your stage display simple and easy, all right? And the same thing could happen. Let's see if we can do the same thing for this video countdown. If I right-click on that, let's see if we can do a condition, show if, I don't know if it gives an option. It just gives you the options for dynamic value, variables, timers, and text. So there's no way I can do it to where if a video is playing, it'll actually show up or disappear, I should say, if it's not a video playing, but that's okay. We'll keep it just like it is. No variables, no conditions necessary for it, okay? But these two with the light bulbs do have a condition set, okay? If you want to get rid of the condition, you can simply hover over it. You'll see it turn red or like a transparent red, and you can just click it. It'll delete itself, okay? It'll automatically go away. But we've got our stage display set up. That's perfect. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe, and I think that's great, but my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you, someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow together. So until next time, God bless.